the associate. So I know all the different practice situations that doctors and therapists find themselves in. But most of those years, I've been the owner of the practice, and I've had other marathon running because I'm a marathon runner myself. And it involves, we talk about kind of anti-aging techniques, ways that you can stay stronger and healthier. I've written some books. I'm the author of Metabolic Reboot, The 100-Day Diet, and The Freedom Practice Blueprint, which is on Amazon. So you can go to Amazon to get my books and view my author profile. So what is the trap that nobody warned you about? Well, you did everything right and you still feel financially stuck. So, maybe you're a doctor that just got out of school, or maybe you're out of school for a few years and you've got a lot of debt, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And now, opening a practice could be a few more $100,000 or even $1 million of debt to get one started. Let's say if you're a dentist, the equipment can be very expensive. So getting out of debt is one of the first goals that we want to accomplish, but we don't want to sacrifice your finances. We don't want you to go broke. We don't want you to have a ton of financial pressure, because it takes away from why you became a doctor or therapist in the first place. So we're going to talk through that a bit today. Now, high income does not equal wealth. When you have a high income, that's great. Generally, it means higher cash flows. But if you're squandering away that money, and I've met lots of doctors and therapists that have had very high incomes and kind of blew it. And I was shocked, actually, early in my career to see very successful doctors and therapists, and yet outside of the office making really bad mistakes. And I thought to myself, I don't want to do that. I've got to learn from these mistakes. I've got to ask some doctors and therapists that I really look up to what they did so I can avoid these mistakes. And I think the problem is nobody taught us this in school. So we basically didn't have any training on the business side of the practice. It's not a discipline problem, it's more of a structural one. And depending on the personality, sometimes there's kind of two trains of thought. One is to get rid of the debt, let's say, as quickly as possible. The other one is that slow trickle of paying down the highest interest rate debts first, putting some cash flow towards it, and then also enjoying life and to spending money in areas that lead to that personal fulfillment. For me, running marathons, let's say, and reinvesting in the business so you can have a stronger business with better cash flow. So it's kind of two trains of thought, that all or nothing, and then there's that gradual process. The number one wealth building mistake health professionals make is trading time for income. There's a structural trap that keeps high earners broke. So you graduate, you get a job, you're doing well, and then you start looking for a car, and you run into a car salesman that's going to sell you a really high-end car, and now you've got these payments. Same thing with maybe renting an apartment or a condo. You want a nice place after years of being a student, and then you overcommit. So it's these over commitments while you have debt that can be very challenging, because the debt has interest and sometimes higher interest. And so that's a drain on your cash flow. And then you make some other commitments without budgeting properly. Now, if you stop seeing your patients, your income can stop too. And so that makes it, gives doctors and therapists pressure, because they feel like they have to keep working. They can't take a vacation, let's say. And this isn't good either. This is where a locum doctor comes in, somebody like what I did, like me, early in my career. And then the identity trap, why clinicians resist the shift to ownership thinking. I think a lot of clinicians have this mentality that no one can do it as well as them. They're type A personalities, and they get frustrated with the fact that If they delegate it, the person they delegate to might make mistakes, might be slower, the quality might not be as good. But you have to give people a chance, and you have to work with them so that they can help you to be more successful. So what's the three-part freedom framework? Number one is the mindset. So we want to talk to you about your beliefs. We want to talk to you about your upbringing. What were your beliefs surrounding money? What did your parents teach you? And what are some of those principles that you still carry with you today? Are they productive ones, or are they counterproductive ones? And if they're counterproductive, we want to replace them. And that's going to take time and effort to shift the mindset. For money, we want to go over your finances. We want to talk about the current debts, the liabilities, the assets you have, the wage, the cash flow. And we want to make some good decisions so that you're not too restricted, but also you're not going to get yourself into more trouble down the road. And then the third is the model, building a practice that generates income beyond your chair time. So we want to practice for you that you're delegating to trained staff, that you're eventually getting a practice with multiple health professionals, that you really can expand your operation and really enjoy that. So rewiring what you believe about money, the three most common money stories in healthcare, and the reframing of each one. We want to talk about that. And we do that in the form of a mastermind group that meets after this webinar for 4 weekly sessions. And in that mastermind group, it's a group format. It's like a Zoom call where people can participate, but I'll dive deeper into these issues to provide solutions. So it's the next step beyond this webinar. Money avoidance isn't laziness, but it's a learned response. Sometimes you procrastinate, sometimes you just don't know what to do. You're kind of paralyzed by the analysis of it or by fear. So you get stuck and you start to feel trapped. And I think on a monthly basis, it's good to have someone who's going to help you, whether it's a financial advisor. Now, the thing about financial advisors is they don't necessarily understand a doctor and their practice and their lifestyle. So someone like us here at True North, where we're going to say, yeah, we've been there and done that. We want to identify your unique challenges, but then we want to provide solutions to you. The clinician wealth sequence, the 6-step sequence from financial inventory to income producing assets. So we want to go over 6 steps that are going to help you to get to your goals. So we want to build on each step, and we will go over that again in our mastermind group. If you don't want to do the mastermind group, you can always do the one-on-one coaching, which will be more tailor-made for you. Skipping steps is the most expensive mistake you can make. You try to leapfrog, you don't have the patience to really work on each step as a foundation to build it up. Then sometimes when you try a shortcut, you can fail. And there's that avalanche method that we talked about earlier, paying down the debt quickly, paying down the biggest debt first, or then there's the other method where it's the trickle-down effect. You're paying a little bit of each one of the debts you have, and you're allocating cash flow to that. You're still enjoying your life. You're still have time to take a vacation. And this is just going to happen more gradually over time. So in this webinar, we're talking about building a practice that pays without you being there. So 4 layers of ownership income, and why most clinicians only have layer 1, which is they are the service and the product. The 5 systems every practice needs to run without the owner. So we're going to talk about that in our mastermind series, and what practice equity actually looks like and how you can build it starting right now. So please join us for our upcoming mastermind series, 4 weeks of live group coaching, accountability, and community. starting soon. It'll be starting next month on the first Saturday of the next month for 4 consecutive weeks. We are thinking about developing these mastermind coaching lessons into a self-study course. So if we can record those, we can have it available to you after the fact, and then you can take that. You just won't have the live group format that we currently do. There's one-on-one coaching sessions available. You can start with a first initial consultation, see if it's a good fit for you. Then we usually work with 13 sessions going forward. 13 sessions in 13 weeks, or sometimes if the client wants to go slower, 13 sessions over 26 weeks. There's limited spots available for this, so I would encourage you to book a short call right now, a 15-minute strategy call, by going to truenorthexperts.com. You can also use this QR code in the top corner right there. Scan that QR code, it'll take you to our website, and then you can definitely book that coaching call. You can follow us on social media as well and here on YouTube. And I look forward to, one more thing, check our Eventbrite page as well, because we have upcoming webinars posted on that site. Thanks again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon.